welcome to another week of He Said, She Said. I am Sara.
I'm Luke.
And we are married with kids. We like to sit down and talk about stuff.
And junk.
And things as well. So we have kids and jobs.
And a cat who's very annoying.
We like to pretend we know what we're doing with said kids and jobs and cat. So we just like to talk.
So our cat's on thin ice.
To you all fine people.
Thin ice.
The cat's a little turd.
She had to get grounded today.
She got banished to the lower half of our home where her potty is. She wouldn't leave the baby alone, and the baby wants to be her best friend.
So anyway, we have let's call it a pedestal topic. We thought with the recent harassment and assault allegations against a shitload of people
in Hollywood and politics.
But it also extends to everyday life for others. So we're going to touch a little bit on that. Maybe some do's and don'ts for the workplace. But mostly just like looking at it from a male and a female's perspective. And also we are going to talk about being in a relationship and being apart during trips, because Sara was just gone for a week in Boston. So I was solo parenting and solo, I don't know, just work and life and stuff. And she was without kids, so that's a little different thing too.
I called it my workcation.
Yeah, there you go. So we're just going to talk a little bit about like surviving that and do's and don'ts and things like that. So I'll start with, how was your week in Boston?
It was really great. It was really busy work-wise, but that's to be expected. It's work. I really soaked in not having to take care of anyone but myself because you almost don't realize how much extra time you have in the morning.
I just have an eyelash, so just ignore me. I'm poking at my eye.
He's poking himself in the eye, folks. Anyway, you don't realize how much extra time is in your day until it's just you again to care for. So that was really nice. I really enjoyed a lovely stay at the Fairfield Inn in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I work in the North End, for those of you familiar with Boston. So it was just it's like 2 miles away.
I'm a fan of their beans. Of the baked sort.
Ew. Those are not yummy.
I do love those.
I don't. You're so strange. But anyway, I got to experience real life Boston traffic every morning. That was fun. I Ubered, so it was... I didn't have to deal with it. Someone else did.
If you were to say that to somebody 20 years ago, it would sound like you got sick in the morning or something.
That I Ubered?
Yeah, that sounds
They'd be like, what is that?
When you're throwing up and going to the bathroom at the same time. I had the flu. I Ubered in the morning.
They need to change their name now. You've ruined it for them.
Well, it does have a certain ring to it.
But it was really great. We did dinner with the office crew, some of them, one night. And then I also went to dinner the next night with an old coworker who has since left the company. But it was... I just love these trips because I just eat such amazing food. I feel like we need to get out more.
You sent some photos of some of this amazing food. Tell and describe some of it.
So I had spare ribs with lobster risotto one night, and it was so good. I'd never even had spare ribs ever. I just thought lobster risotto sounds...
from a Chinese buffet.
Right. Lobster risotto sounds divine. So it was all just perfectly cooked. Excuse me. And then I had, I tried ahi tuna, I think is how you pronounce it.
Ahi.
Ahi tuna.
Ahi.
I'm so refined.
I'm just swimming and I'm on this hook.
But funny story.
Ahi tuna.
Shut up.
Funny story.
The night I met my old coworker, Kelsey, there were 2 locations of the same restaurant. I went to one, she went to the other. long story short, we were at the bar for a very long time waiting on our table. However, it was totally worth it. Best shrimp tacos I've ever had. Just
You didn't tell me about those.
They were so good.
I love shrimp tacos.
Oh my God. Perfectly cooked, jumbo, big old fat grilled shrimp. Oh, I just eat really well on these trips because it's all.
I do feel like if we ever lived more towards the coast, we would lose a few pounds because living in the Midwest, it's all about bread and milk because we're in like farm country and they shove corn in everything. Whereas if you're there where it's fresh caught, the price is a little better.
And it just tastes better. Even if it's fresh in Ohio, it had to travel to get here, you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's frozen.
Most of the time.
Sometimes it could be frozen like yesterday.
Right.
But the cost of that travel makes it really expensive.
And it's just not as good. I just feel like they make it so often there. It's such a part of their menus that they have it just right. I had a lobster roll. I always try to have one of those while I'm there. That's like Boston's thing.
I still never had one.
They're good.
So maybe one of these days I'll go with you.
That's what I was saying. They want to meet Sydney. They want us to bring her too. The whole office is like, just bring her with.
I don't know if
I'm like, what am I going to do with her, guys? I have a job to do. Anyway, it was a good week. I was ready to come home by Friday. I missed everyone, and it was a long day at work, but it was good. How was your week?
Well, I could have used another day or two. It was quite nice.
Well, yeah, off of work. You were off on Thursday and Friday.
Whoosh.
I get it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm just not acknowledging it.
The grandparents helped us out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because childcare is so expensive. So they were able to cover those days, and then I used some time off to just spend Thursday and Friday with the kids, and it was really nice. We have way too much food.
Oh my goodness!
Because Nebby went to a school dinner with one of her friends. One of her friends. And it was like this charity dinner that the school did. So we didn't eat too much food. And
well, you guys had pizza like 2 nights, did you not?
That was because my parents bought it.
They insisted.
So, and I even told them, I was like, we're going to have chili. I made chili. Or you made chili. And we have chili. And then I got spaghetti so that we could also do chili spaghetti, which for those of you not from Ohio, I don't know I know that's a big Cincinnati thing.
I don't think it's anywhere else.
But make chili and put it on spaghetti. That's chili spaghetti. It's freaking amazing.
And put some cheese on it.
You can put like cheddar cheese and sour cream on it. Just treat it like chili, but instead of crackers, spaghetti.
Yeah, it's pretty delicious.
So good. And we made that, and Nebby'd never had it. And she's like, what are we having? I was like, chili spaghetti.
I thought she tried it at Skyline once. I think she did, but it's different chili when we have it at home.
She loved ours.
Yeah.
So that was good. But it was overall a pretty good week. I don't know, just being home all day with the kids and just being like, all I have to do today is pick up the kids. Parent-teacher conferences were this week. They went very well. Nebby's teachers, like, she's so well behaved, they made jokes about like, oh, she had detention again, and it's just like, yeah, I know she's a good kid. All of them talk about how they've got this little like drawing gang that sits over on the side of the class every morning, and they're supposed to do like quiet reading in the morning, but the drawing gang's allowed to draw because she's like they're engaged,
right?
And she said like there's this whole group of them.
And Nevi's like the ringleader, I guarantee. Because she's
got a little drawing cartel.
I feel like
if she was smart, she should pull a Bob Kane from Batman. If those are not familiar with Bob Kane. Bob Kane, I think I've talked about this because I watched that documentary.
Give us the 2-minute version.
I can give you a 10-second version.
Okay.
Bob Kane came up with the name Batman, and he's a detective. Bill Finger made everything that is Batman. The Joker, Robin, everything, his outfit, but got zero credit for it until like very recently.
Right, I remember.
And he's dead.
Right.
So like, I think he died in the 80s or 90s. Like he got nothing from this, and the family like didn't want money. They just want his credit,
recognition.
To put it like Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is the first movie that ever had created by blah 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 and Bill Finger. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Nevi should steal their ideas and make a comic book.
She would never do that. She wouldn't. She's too honest.
So anyway, it was a good week, but I do want to share a new thing that Sydney's been doing, and it'll be our, what do you call that?
Kids. They're strange, tiny humans.
Right. So
weird, tiny humans.
If anyone's had a toddler, you know that they do these repetitive things, and it can be like picking up a ball, putting it on the couch, saying your ABCs, taking the ball, putting it on a chair, and like just little repetitive things. So this new thing she's doing is, in our front door has a little rug on it. And she was calling it a pillow. She finally calls it a rug now. She goes, "Wug?" And she's still doing her thing where she says, "Is that bug?
Yeah.
Is that rug? Is that pillow?" It's so cute. Anyway.
She just did it at bedtime. Is that Goon?
Oh, that's how she gets you to read another book.
We read Goodnight Goon
She
every
pretends
night.
like, "Oh, is that book right there?" It'll be like, because I tried to do just one book one day.
Yeah.
No. She goes, "Is that good?" And I was like, "Yes, here,
She's
let's
so
read it."
sneaky.
So anyway, it's a little rug over a tiled area in front of our front door, about 4 feet by 4 feet. She will pick up the rug and move it, and then she'll very calmly lay down on her back on the
cold tile.
on the
it's
cold
cold
tile, and just put her hands on the ground and just lay down on it, face up, and just go, "Are you okay?"
Didn't she say, "I'm okay," too?
Yeah, she'll go, "You okay?"
I'm okay.
You okay? And then she'll get up and do whatever, and then she'll come right back and lay down.
Probably because we ask her when she bumps her head or trips, "Are you okay? You're
funny.
okay."
Your mom theorized that, like, maybe she hit her head or something on the tile, and I'm like, no, she's never really fallen on that.
So, I don't know.
We're like, I don't know, it's just this thing she's been doing. So that's weird, but I got a video of it, so on Sunday we'll post it on Instagram as like a little treat of our weird child.
Well, and it can also be seen as a reminder, we're okay. The world's a scary, awful place, but we're okay.
Speaking of...
Right? There's a nice segue. We're a little ahead of schedule.
I was going to talk about how... one other thing I'm doing this week is I'm writing Christmas songs.
Right.
My other podcast that Sara loves that I talk about, Two Dudes Drinking, comedy podcast. It's more crude than this one.
Much more.
Me and my friend Sean, who do that, we write music together a lot. You may not know. We're pretty much the only people that each other can like put up with our writing styles without getting mad. And it's just funny. Like, we have a great dynamic.
Guest appearance on the last episode.
Yes. So if you want to hear Sara, she was in the first 2 episodes, right? Mm-hmm. And then this last one was episode 60.
Was it 60 or 61? Anyway, Sean's wife Marlena is also on, and it was a good time.
But I had an idea, because we do like funny songs and stuff, and I was like, what if we do Christmas songs every week on the podcast, and then we release them? But we're still figuring it out. But I wrote 1.5, but I recorded one this week when Sydney was napping. It was good to record.
I'm sorry if I'm shushing in the background.
It's the cat.
The cat will not leave us alone. Did we feed her dinner?
Twice.
Something's up with the cat. Something. She's trying to raise the alarm.
It's because the cat got in trouble is what she's doing.
Well, I keep putting my hand down.
And you've been gone all week. Keep that in mind.
She doesn't care about me.
Now she does. Okay, so anyway, that was my week. And our weird child. But
we had some tips, though, we wanted to cover on, like, the relationship side. We kind of talked about the parenting side of staying connected when the other one's away.
That'll be the second thing we do. I want to do that second.
Well, we just talked about...
That was about our week.
He's confusing me. I tried to get him to use my notes in my Google Sheet.
Yeah, but I said the outline at the beginning.
You did, but why
I would like to end on a happier topic.
Okay.
Is the point.
I understand, but we didn't do the week thing last time we recorded. So This is super exciting podcasting for the listeners. Sorry, listeners.
So let's start with the somber topic of the week with the whole Harvey Weinstein thing. If you haven't read about it, please invite us over to your rock where you don't get any news.
Right. It's probably nice there.
Basically,
Quiet.
like, all these massive, like, powerful people, actors and producers and stuff who use their power to get favors or solicit, and they always got away with it because they had money. They're no longer getting away with it, and people are coming out. I think it started, like, the whole Cosby thing, where people are like, oh my God, this beloved guy turns out to be a complete piece of trash. Like, it's insane. And, like, I loved Bill Cosby growing up. And, like, it was always like, we watched Bill Cosby every week, like, or the Cosby Show. And it was always like, this is the example, like, wholesome, have a sense of humor about raising your family stuff. And now you're like, except for the drugging ladies part, let's not do that. And then,
I mean, the most recent big one was Harvey Weinstein.
well, and then,
But there's been so many more
now
since
they're just,
then.
the dominoes are starting to
Yeah,
fall.
it's like Kevin Spacey, Louis C.K.
Right, the Louis C.K. one, like, I've heard rumors about that.
Because his comedy is all about it.
Right. And there's always a little truth in it. And, like, I don't know. And first of all, I do want to say high five to everybody jumping out and holding them accountable. Because, not to name names or single anyone out, but there's certain sects of people that do whatever they can to cover up sexual harassment and sexual assault and things like that. And these people have come out and that's just been like, hey, you need to answer for this.
Right.
And some of the people are jumping out and going, like, Louis C.K. jumped right out and said, like, all of it is true. It's been and like, he didn't ask for apology or forgiveness or anything. Like, he released this whole statement that was just like, I know it's a problem. Mm-hmm. And I guess he talked about, like, he's called people to been like, oh my God, I did this to you and I don't know what to say. I know I shouldn't have done that. But he should be held accountable. And he is. All his shows are getting canceled and all that shit.
Right.
And, like, good. But you get politicians that do it and then they say, well, and they're like, oh, well, here's some religious reason why it's okay. And it's like,
Well, and the
no.
extremely conservative right is making excuses like, well, technically, 2 of the 3 were of consensual age.
No.
And he was single.
A 30-something person should not be dating
16-year-old.
anyone.
Even if it's in Alabama and that's the age of consent.
Right.
Gross.
I mean,
It's just gross and not right. Like,
but, like, hold people accountable. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But this got me and Sarah talking about, we started having a little debate and then we're like, let's save this for a podcast because we're going to keep it very nice and clean, but we're going to have a little debate club here because it's such a tricky topic. So my point was, I'm so happy that these people are being held accountable. But what happens, I should say, people are held in the court of public opinion before anything. And I have been accused of things before that I know I didn't do.
not in regards to sexual harassment or assault.
Right.
In regards to other things in life.
Right.
I just wanted to put a disclaimer out there.
But I'm just saying, like, I absolutely know
how that
for
feels.
sure that I didn't. But there was no way I could protect myself.
Right.
And most people just believed it to begin with. And I'm like, there's nothing I can do about that. So I know what it's like to just absolutely not be able to defend yourself. And have just get accused of something that you absolutely did not do. So I think I'm very happy that these people are finally coming out with their, trying to out these people who are just scumbags. However, there's always another side to the coin of it's going to start happening to people who didn't do anything because maybe they didn't know they were doing something. And that's why we're going to get to some maybe handy little guidelines later.
I think there's two separate.
Well, hold on.
Maybes. Let me just.
I wasn't done yet.
I know you weren't done yet, but it's not that they didn't know they're doing something. There's going to be outright attention-seeking men and women.
Yes, that's what I was
who
going to say.
just lie like that. That's definitely going to happen.
Well,
it may have already happened.
And some of it, like George Takei came out and
I saw his,
and his was like, "This is." I don't know his exact quote, but he said it was just an absolute fabrication. And like, you got to think George Takei would. I mean, he's not an unattractive person, And like, I know he's been in a long-term relationship for a very long time, and
back in the 80s, I think.
But I know, but like
when the accused said,
you wonder, like, I don't know, it just seems out of character. Whereas like Kevin Spacey always seemed like kind of creepy, and like he's always jumping on parts where like, oh, I get to kiss a dude, sweet, and you're like, yeah, you're a little in the closet. That it's okay. And I feel like when those people repress themselves, it makes them come out in
exactly
ways like that. And like the senator candidate from Alabama that we were talking about, like he's one of those super right wing, like gays. He thinks Muslims shouldn't be allowed to hold office. That gays, I don't remember if he was a gay should be put to death or gays shouldn't vote or something. He's just a very horrible person. And then it's like, oh, look, also a scumbag. It's what, like, you preach the hardest against it, you're usually covering something up. So my point is, I worry that a lot of good people are going to start like doing something that they think's innocent and just not knowing, or people flat out lying. But the flat out lying, you can't really do much about it. But I'm talking about, we were having a conversation earlier about like, and this will get to our guidelines. So I've gone to work before, not this particular work, but you know, whatever work. And like maybe you have a dinner after work or something, so you have a nice shirt on, your hair's combed. And you walk in and they say, oh, you look handsome today. I think nothing of it. Say, oh, thanks. You know, I combed my hair today. That is sexual harassment these days. Technically. It depends on it's a very gray area. And if somebody was in a bad mood and didn't like their job, they could go, I was harassed. And especially like, so if I was a woman and I walked in, I should say, if a woman walked into my work and maybe she's scrappy all the time and put herself together one day and I said, oh, you look lovely today. She could immediately go, oh my God, you creep, go to HR and I could be fired for harassment or go to sensitivity training or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it would probably be
but I'm saying like it's this gray area. How many people are going to get accused of shit like that because they just didn't know?
Right. However, I feel like ignorance, this is the she said part of this argument or discussion. The way I look at it is this. You don't need to comment on people's appearance ever. It doesn't matter who they are. Like if you think they look nice, be like, that's a nice shirt. It's that simple. Like you don't make it about their body. You make it about what they put on it.
We were talking earlier, and that's the thing you said where I was like, no, save it. That's great advice.
Right. Like just think of it that way, because there's no reason to comment on another person's body. There just isn't.
I didn't say body.
No. You
jump there. You think that I'm the pig man, always looking at your body.
Appearance, if you're saying someone looks nice in general, it always translates to their body.
When I see the whole package, like you just look put together. Like,
but that's kind of backhanded anyway, not even on a harassment level. But like when you're like, you look like you really put yourself together today. That means, so you don't think I look that way every day?
So
I know.
But like, excuse me. Yeah, my point is just cover your bases and just don't say anything.
Well, I mean, there's a bit of advice I read once about teaching young ladies about self-image and their bodies. And it's like, how do you talk to your daughter about her body? You don't. Unless it's how it functions.
Oh, I was about to say, like
it's that simple. Like, you don't comment on...
Why is blood coming out of me?
That's
don't
different.
You worry about it.
Like, that's different. Like, the physiological side, yes, of course, you want them to understand those things. But when it comes to, like, their appearance, like, and I've really taken that to heart lately. And I've applied it because, like, Nevi's at a really formative age. And I don't ever want her to feel like she's doing something wrong by the choices of, like, what she wears or how she wears it. I just try to guide her in, like, making sure her clothes match, making sure, like, things like that. Her clothes are clean, you know, they fit correctly. And she has.
Mostly.
But
is it cold out today?
Yeah.
Okay, I will not wear shorts.
Yeah, that whole thing. She has a hard time with that still.
But back to the point. So that's a good tip. Like, just don't say anything. You don't need to
comment on people's bodies.
Gosh. Yeah, if you really feel the need, comment on the clothes. Like, or, I don't know. I'm just thinking of anything that can be misconstrued as sexual harassment. you just can't be too careful. And like, we live in a litigious age, and we live in an age where it is the court of public opinion before anything else. I've lived through it. It sucks. And like, there's still people out there that believe I'm some sort of scum of the earth or whatever, who've never even met me. So I'm kind of like a celebrity if you think about it. I know what Kevin Spacey's feeling right now.
Well, I mean, on the
That's a joke. That's a joke.
On the flip side, like you were mentioning how like it's so great that they're being like not prosecuted, but like people are coming out saying like this is
They're
not
holding
okay.
them accountable.
I see it as like how brave of those women, because it could ruin their careers. Yeah. Like, that's probably why all of these accounts are from 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years ago. Because if they would have, let me finish. If they would have came out and with these accusations when they actually happened, they probably weren't as established in their careers and would have lost their jobs. And it wasn't worth it because that's being a woman. Like, you have to weigh, like, okay, this has really made me really uncomfortable. But, well, he's kind of known in all the circles for being like this anyway, and I really want to keep this job. I feel like it's really going to get me somewhere. That's the choices women have to make sometimes. Right.
The one really powerful thing I read was, and it was more sexual harassment than assault, but it was Ellen Page on her Facebook released a thing about her experiences, and one of them was, one of them she said this producer, she didn't name a name, but he said he when she was 16, rubbed her leg under a table. Ugh. And he was like, so gross. You have to make the first move. I can't. Ew. Just basically make this happen. And can you imagine 16? And then she said when she was on X3, X-Men 3, The Last Stand, which sucked, by the way.
I think I remember that one.
It was terrible.
It wasn't very good.
The director, Brett Ratner, I guess they were in a meeting or something, and just right in front of everybody said something along the lines of will somebody F her so she realizes she's a lesbian or something like that, just in front of everyone. And she's like, I'm still figuring myself out and didn't quite reconcile.
I mean, she was pretty young. I mean, not that has anything to do with it, but
I'm still that's sexual harassment and it's bullying. Right. And I'm just I'm so happy that these things are finally people are being held accountable for them, and people are brave enough to come out with it. And you said women, but also remember the person who with Kevin Spacey. That was a dude.
That was a man.
And
I just the ones I just read the article from the New York Times about Louis C.K. last night. Right. So they were both the two. They went back to his hotel room just for a nightcap. They didn't think anything of it. You know, they had worked together. They had worked with him. They were co-workers, writers on I can't remember which show, and he made some comment about taking off his pants as soon as they get in the room, and they thought he was kidding because he's a comedian. And then the next thing they know, he's sitting there completely naked, and he started masturbating in front of them, and then they just were like, we have to go, and they left and were completely appalled. Did that just happen? And so that's why women were in my head, because I just read their account.
Well, I mean, it's all in all, it's these people, man, woman, gay, straight, no matter what, or right wing, left wing.
It doesn't really matter who
they have
are.
A little bit of power, and they think they can exploit people under them. And it extends more than sexual harassment and stuff in our world in general. You have a little bit of power, you think you're going to exploit the people who are quote unquote lesser than you.
Right.
So it's it's about time those people are getting theirs. And good for them. But yeah, from a male's perspective, it is scary because I start thinking about oh my God, what can I be accused of that I saw the wrong way? But so it's be nice, but you don't have to be out with it, and don't be creepy.
Basically.
Man, I always think about there's always, I don't know, you're a girl, you know this guy. Every group has that guy he's the hugger. Yes. Every group has one. I had him in high school. There was one guy in college that we used to give so much shit. And every time he was with the girls, he'd be like, oh, hug. And I'm sitting there nowadays, I'm that's a guy who would whip his dick out when they're alone together. Mm-hmm. That kind of shit. Stop it. Don't do that.
The way I look about it is this. The way I look at it is this. If you think to yourself, I don't know if this is appropriate or not, it probably isn't. So don't do it.
Or if it's along the lines of I wish that girl would hug me so I'm going to hug her.
Which is gross.
No.
Yeah, no.
So on a female perspective, if I may offer I try to be respectful and everything. I treat women equally shitty as most people.
He doesn't discriminate. He treats everyone equally as
but I'm hopefully absolutely, if you feel unsafe or something, be heard. Maybe spend a couple seconds thinking about intent. Of course, oh, did he mean to hurt my feelings by whipping his dick out? Okay, that's bad. He should not have done that. But if it's something along the lines of a guy maybe stammering on his words to say you just honestly saying you look nice today. Yeah, inappropriate, but you don't have to ruin his career over something like that.
Right.
I just, there's so much gray area.
And I would say most women wouldn't, but some
I know, but we all know those super feminists who they'll yell at you for holding a door open for them because you're a pig man and they don't need your help. These are things that women don't know that men do experience. Getting told you're a piece of shit because you hold a door open for somebody kind of sucks. Yeah. So
that really happened to you?
Yeah.
By who? By someone you knew or a stranger?
No, it was just a stranger, in a store. And I've also said nice things to men before who also said shitty things back. I said a nice thing to a guy once. And it was just something I want to say a random thing, nice thing to a stranger. And his response was, I don't need your fucking pity.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was just okay.
Never mind. This is making me think of a story from the airport last night. When we're talking about our next topic, I will try and remember. We'll see what happens.
Anyway, to sum up, just use your head. Men, don't be creepy. Just think about don't think about how you would want to be treated, because if it was up to us, it would be we all shake wieners in the morning, and because we're gross people. But use your mind when you're interacting with your coworkers and other counterparts and friends and whatever. Sometimes we all just want to hang out.
Just remember,
just chill. They're people. They're humans.
That's what I was going to say. Women are people too. Guys are people too.
Right. And because I want to make sure that we aren't just saying male to women.
Right. No, and I agree
gay
there.
relationships, any sort of professional relationship.
Just because.
Or I want to say even not a relationship of a sexual thing of just you have power to make somebody's day worse.
Yeah.
And take advantage of people. Just stop it.
Don't do that.
Not cool.
It's chaos. Be kind.
And on the flip side of it, try to judge the person's intent. If they're really honestly not trying to be hurtful or creepy or whatever, maybe let it slide and / let them know hey, I know you're just trying to be nice, but that's not appropriate. It's okay to correct them. What if they've never been told?
Right. If
hey,
it's
Louie, put your dick away. Not
if it's
cool.
The first time a comment's been made, okay, you registered in your head. Maybe you don't go to HR, but you think to yourself, I'm going to remember this happened. It happens 2 or 3 more times. Go to HR.
Well, what if if a guy says something like, hey, Louise, looking leggy today. That's a time where you go maybe don't ruin his career, but you got to tell the guy hey,
not okay.
That's not cool.
Right.
Don't tell me that.
Right.
And that shit continues. Then, hang him by his nuts in HR. But overall, just be cool to each other. Not creepy. I have no segue.
You have no Old Man Holtzberry this week?
I do have something.
Let's do that, and then we'll go into a happier
One day
topic
we'll have a jingle. Did I describe it as you hear water running and then a acoustic guitar or something just playing a little fishing song?
I thought it'd be funny to have you say youths. I have lots of funny ideas for it.
Well, this is actually more about the olds.
The elderly.
So they were talking about...
As Nebby calls them that. Did you know she calls them that?
Yeah.
Every time because you do it, and then
I work with the elderly, so.
But she always makes it plural, and it makes it more funny.
It is.
Continue.
My thing of the week is I was writing one of my Christmas songs, and it's about just being nicer to each other at Christmas. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because it's on my other podcast, which you'll have to listen to in December.
Maybe
It's called Two Dudes Drinking.
Maybe we'll have a sneak peek because it's pretty funny.
I still got some work to do, but I showed Sarah because I'm going to make her sing a part on it. Pardon me. Anyway, one of the lines, I was just thinking about different ways people are just like complete assholes in the holidays. And one of my lines alludes to people who get pissed at the Starbucks cup. And I think it was on Bob and Tom or something. I heard they were talking about like Starbucks this year just like made the cup blank or something.
That was last year.
Was it?
This year it's like
last year was the red cup that everybody got mad at because there wasn't any Jesus on it. This year
it's like there's stuff you can color it in though.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, but it doesn't matter.
I want to verify.
The whole thing is basically like, you people do nothing but bitch every time we make a cup. So make your own goddamn cup.
No, I agree.
But it got me thinking like that kind of shit, like all the high and mighty during Christmas who were just like, you are not properly doing the reason for the season. And I'm like, oh, you mean Saturnella?
They
Google
just did it like this.
So you color it.
You can color it in. It's got Christmas and it's got different holidays all over it.
I appreciated that so much. And like last year, the cup was red and people bitched about it. I'm like, come on. I don't know. It's just so stupid. The things that people get all friggin' pissy about, especially during the holidays. If you do a little research into the holiday season, you realize that there are many, many different cultures that all feed into what we view as Christmas. And there are also many other cultures that celebrate things during this time too. So you don't get a monopoly on the calendar.
Look at this person that colored there's pretty rainbow. I love it.
Somewhere, some right-winger's head just exploded because he was thinking about wieners too much. Anyway, that's my complaint of the week is like, just quit being so pissy about everything. Like, as I'm pissy about this, but I'm allowed to because
it's the segment. You have to be.
Well, it's seriously like the shit people get pissed off about. Like, get pissed off about people trampling each other on Black Friday and like, I'm gonna fight you because I need to get this stupid toy. Like, and like, oh, I'm gonna get this shitty TV that was on sale 3 months ago
for cheaper.
Like, I don't know. If you wait till like January, February, the shit will be cheaper.
I think they actually looked at before Christmas, the cheapest prices were like the week before Christmas or something.
Read that article.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, geez, and it goes back to like, just be cool to each other. Okay. Being assholes, get off your goddamn pedestals.
I have a segue.
Okay.
So one of the perks of my trips is I always watch a movie or a stand-up special or a TV show. I download them from Netflix on my flight because it's a 2-hour flight so it's just the right groove for like something like that. On the way to Boston, I watched Patton Oswalt's newest stand-up special.
Oh God, he didn't touch somebody, did he?
No, he's on you. I know
I was gonna make a joke.
I'm sorry.
He touched my heart.
He definitely did. I cried a couple times. He talked very candidly about his wife suddenly dying last year, and they have a 7-year-old. She's 7 now. But one of his wife's favorite things to tell him, because he would kind of dabble in the everything happens for a reason type of, he's like, I'm not religious, but I feel like there could be some reason that for all of this, you know. But she would always look at him and say, it's chaos, be kind, meaning everything's just a hot mess. There's no rhyme or reason to the world. There's no reason to not be good to the people around you. It doesn't cost anything to be a nice person. And it really resonated with me. And that's just kind of how I feel about all this shit that's going on in the news and work.
We're going to name the episode either It's Chaos, Be Kind, or I Ubered.
I think I Ubered is funnier. And I don't want to rip off the late Michelle McNamara. That was his wife.
That's true.
So anyway.
So how's that a segue?
Because I watched it on my trip. Oh. And I'm pointing out, use your flights to watch movies.
We talked earlier about Sarah's trip.
Yeah.
So a lot of people can't do the faraway trips.
What do you mean?
No, like, some married couples like can't.
Really?
Oh God! Like, think of the like super jealous women. That would be like, call me every break you get, every this and that. Like, we're just not those people.
If the husband goes away, or if like the wife goes away, but the husband's at home, it doesn't matter.
Just or when the husband might not trust the wife.
They're
whatever.
Just separated.
So I was just trying to think of some things that made it work for us.
Okay.
Like,
well, first off, we trust each other.
Trust, like. And I'm like, ooh, what are you and Kelsey going to go cruise for dudes? Like,
No. She's had the same boyfriend since college.
right. So have you.
Right.
And like, I always think, and I think Sarah knows that, like, whenever I'm traveling, she knows that if they're like, oh, he better not be cruising for chicks or something, she knows that I'm always just like, that sounds like a lot of work.
It's so true.
I would much rather just have a couple beers, bullshit, and go to bed at a reasonable hour. Because that's a lot of work you'd have to put into a lady.
It is.
No
and
pun intended.
Work travel is a little more exhausting than your normal days because it's a different environment. It's, for me personally,
Well,
I've
if I may
seen
jump
my
in,
coworkers
my last work trip, though, if you would have seen some of the hottie elderlies running around, you might have been just a little jealous.
Your convention full of old people.
I shouldn't. I didn't say they were the people who were there.
Just the people you saw.
I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
I'm not accusing anyone of anything.
Right.
But yeah, it's just funny. It's like, what did I do the whole time? You know exactly what I did. I sat in my hotel room and watched football and Rick and Morty. I took baths. We talked about it.
I'm sad I didn't have a bathtub this time. I had a full-size shower.
Remember when we went to that one hotel in Cincinnati? The
yes,
21.
It's
what was it called?
The 21st Century Hotel.
No, it's called like 21.
Yeah, 21C. That's just 21. The short end.
Oh, okay.
It's 21st.
Super cool hotel. If anyone finds herself in the Cincinnati area,
and a hotel.
It's an art museum and a hotel. 21C.
They have them in a couple other big cities too.
They didn't have a bath. They had a shower.
Yeah,
and we're a married couple having a night out. Maybe that was something we would have done, but nope. And I don't think the shower was really going to happen because they had little faces on the tiles, and that would be weird.
I liked it. I thought it was neat.
Because they're watching. But anyway, so that's one thing is trust. If you don't trust each other, like, you get...
That's a whole other level of worry, too. Like,
maybe something to do with your relationship. Because, like...
Check yourself.
We talked, like, what? We'd text a few times.
Throughout the day, and then we'd always talk in the evening.
And we'd...
Except Friday. Because I was at the airport.
But, like... So we'd communicate at an appropriate amount. So, and we luckily live in a day and age where FaceTime's just built into our phones. Remember when you used to have to like sign in to Yahoo Video and get weird. A webcam?
Yeah. So that was nice. I got to see Sydney every day.
And it was so funny. Sydney likes to show you things on her pictures.
It's so funny.
If she's coloring, she'll hold her crayon up so you can see it.
She's so serious too.
It's so cute.
It's a freaking
her
hilarious.
Halloween pictures are great because you can always see like she's lifting up her little bucket like you have to see it. And we were just talking. Sarah reminded me that Nevi used to do it too.
Mm-hmm. She still does sometimes.
Like if she was in a picture, she'd have to like hold up her stuffed bunny or something.
If we took a picture out to eat and she had a tortilla chip in her hand, she would have to like hold the chip next to her face.
Oh yeah, she'd make a little smile.
She's so funny like that.
But so second thing is like communication.
Yeah.
So first thing was like trust. Second thing is communication.
Well, and if you have kids at home, you're going to want to check in to whoever's on the home front. Like, how's it going?
Yeah,
how are the
kids? Have kids though.
But even if you don't, how's the cat?
Right. But it's just like, how are you? You know, we're people too. Wife. You never asked once.
I did too.
I know. Just kidding. But
that last day I was like, I miss her. And like 20 minutes later, I'm like, miss you too. Because I didn't say.
Well, lucky for you, I don't check my text enough
to notice that it was like a time lapse.
So just find a way to communicate at an appropriate quantity.
Like a good cadence.
Yeah, because like...
Too much is too much.
Because my third point would be enjoy the space.
Yeah.
Between your communications.
Exactly.
Because like, as you called it, it's your workcation.
Yeah.
So it is like a minute to go like, I don't have to change a diaper today. I don't have to make anyone food.
Right. Not even myself, really.
Right. I don't have to... All I have to worry about is like getting up for work, doing a good job, going and spending the work's money on my food.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. And oh, did I.
And you know what's funny is you were so like oh, I'm going to get all this good food. When I went on my work trip, like... I was like,
but you don't have a corporate card. You get reimbursed, so it's different.
Yeah, I know, but it was like... I still don't feel right. Like they allowed us like $15 for lunch and something like $30 or $40 for dinner or something. I'm just like, that's absurd.
And I used to kind of have reservations, but like, I think about it this way. Even if I was spending my own money, I don't go out of my way to go to the fancy schmancy things when I'm just buying food. Like I ate at the hotel most nights. When I went out with other people, yes, I spend a little bit more because they take me to fun places. If I was by myself, I wouldn't be, I had Okay, I do want to share a quick story about the airport because it was kind of funny. I'm becoming a pro at getting through security really quick. I always have everything I need ready. I have my boarding pass on my work phone because it's just easier than printing out a real one. You have your ID, you go through security, you take off your shoes. Your laptop goes in a separate bin. At Boston Logan, iPads have to come out. And in Columbus, iPads can stay in the bag. It's just little differences in security. So I get through security. This button on my jeans set off a red flag. They had to check my waistband. It was weird. The lady's like, is that okay if I touch you? Or do you have any sensitive areas? I said, no, but I'm super ticklish, so I'll probably giggle. And she laughed at me. I
would have been like, I'm a dick. Is that appropriate? I'm sorry.
That would be sexual harassment.
She asked.
Anyway. So I found a restaurant that was right there for dinner. And I'm sitting at a bar and eventually a guy leaves that was next to me and a new one comes up and he's trying to get situated because it's hard. Some people have carry-on bags. He had a laptop, he finally gets situated. And then I was watching Handmaid's Tale on my iPad. He taps me on the shoulder and I take one of my earbuds out. He's like, I'm going to be right back. Can you just, and I was like, you can't ask me to do that. Cause he was about to ask me to watch his bags and you can't do that. That's a whole post 9/11 world. You don't ask you don't leave he's like, I'm not asking you to wash my bags. I'm asking you to make sure the waitress doesn't think I left because he had a beer. Okay. And I was like, I can do that.
Can I give out a pro tip?
What?
There was an international sign for don't take away my drink. You take your coaster, and if you don't have a coaster, you take your napkin and you set it on top of your drink.
Next time this happens, because it might happen again. Cause
that's a signal for...
It's a lot of work to take all your shit, and I don't think he wanted the waitress to see him taking all of his shit and thinking, that dude just stiffed me. So it was funny. We all laughed about it.
That is an inappropriate thing to say at work. So... Get it?
Tip. There's a tip. Just the tip.
Also inappropriate. What's another thing that's helpful for... those are the big ones.
Yeah. Communication is key. Enjoy your time apart.
Maybe also have a know each other's itinerary.
Yeah.
That's more for emergencies. Okay, she was supposed to be, her flight landed at 11. That means she should have been home by 12:30. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
We have Find My iPhone.
Right.
So we can go oh my God, she's still in fucking Target. But
stop.
Stuff like that. If you try, and that goes back to the trust thing. I don't care if you know where I am. I'm usually at one of 3 places.
Can I tell you something funny?
Hold on. Here, work, or Sean's.
So when you were coming back from your, I don't remember if it was a day trip. I think it was a day trip. I can't remember. It was after one of your recent conferences. And I was like, man, where is he? And I knew you had to go back to the office. So I was like, maybe he's just still at the office. And I pulled it up and you were near the shopping center by Kroger in Springfield, which all I could see.
I was at the gas station.
Well, there's a Planned Parenthood there too. And I was like, why is he at, because it was, sometimes it's not real accurate.
I forgot to tell you that I moonlight.
Oh my God.
I escort the women. No, not like that. The women.
Going in.
Because those protesters that aren't there at all. Because
at the one in Springfield.
I know, but in such a freaking right wing area,
you would think
there's nobody out there. I saw
the one in Kettering is still alive and well, though. They're still camped out over there.
Breaks my heart just a little bit. When I was driving to a client meeting in that area last week, there was 2 younger folk outside, and you could tell they were very distraught, and he was rubbing her back, and that one doesn't do abortions,
but it was probably an appointment to find out
if they were pregnant or whatever. And I was just sitting there Oh boy.
Yeah.
You could tell like something was up, but
Yeah.
they also, I don't want to jump to conclusions because they also test for like cancer and everything like that there. Like it could have been anything. So I don't want to judge.
They do comprehensive health care.
You look there and you go like, oh man, they're going through some shit.
Well,
so maybe don't protest, you fucking dicks.
Right.
Jesus
okay,
Christ.
Got a little off topic. My point was, I convinced myself for like a half a day that you were cheating on me and you were going to get an STD test. Planned Parenthood.
We're just talking about trust.
I know.
Which one of those elderlies was like, honey, I just got a new hip?
I don't know. It happens. And I didn't like really believe it because this is the first time I was like, that's stupid. He
Also,
doesn't have
the car
time
rental
for that.
place is right across the street.
I think that was one of the times you had to rent a car.
The Kroger parking lot is where we gassed up and then literally right across the street from Kroger.
Well, but you didn't mention that you had to do that stuff. So I was like, he just said he had to go to work. Like, what's going on?
I think it was when I was on my way home because we ran over because one of the conferences was my time there went over because they told us we'd be able to just drop our stuff off, but no one told us that there was also a Sherwin-Williams conference going on or some shit that. Or not, maybe not that. It was some paint company was going on at the same time. So we sat there like, I don't know what to do. And we had to wait for people to tell us what to do. And eventually they were like, just drop your shit in the hallway. There's nothing you can do. And
point being, trust is paramount.
Yeah. And like, you can text me and go like, are you Planned Parenthood? And I go, yes, I have kids, and I needed to go tell everybody in there it's going to be okay.
Aww.
That was all.
Okay. Well, this has been a fun ride. Do we have any more tips before we
trust, communicate,
shut this down and move on with our lives?
Enjoy yourself.
Indeed.
Enjoy the time away from each other, and it's nice. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
And that could not be more true in our exact situation. I work from home. We have kids. We don't get out enough. And it's getting colder out, so we don't get out enough. Yeah.
So, like, we get a little snippy with each other. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we get so snippy we need to take a month off the podcast.
I won't say we were being snippy that entire time, but it was probably a factor.
It was, yeah.
We were busy as too.
That thing was, we were just so busy.
Very busy. But I think you may have noticed, listeners, it's been 2 weeks since we have given you a new episode. It'll probably stay like that, but who knows? Maybe you'll get a little mini holiday treat closer to Christmas, an extra bonus. But we appreciate your listening.
Yep. So,
if you want to give us more engaging things to talk about,
or have a question,
you can write us a question or comment, or as the lovely Chris Hardwick would call it, a quiment. It's like a mashup of a question and a comment.
I'm aware.
You can find us online.
We're going to get sued by Nerdist now. You know that.
No, we won't. They don't listen to us.
His little scrunchy face would be like, you just stole my joke? You
can email...
Sorry.
You can email us at hesaidshesaiidpc@gmail.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and you can find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and probably anywhere else you can find your podcast. I think they're all kind of incestuous and such. So find us, listen, like us.
Hi, podcast.
We appreciate your feedback. I get it. I hear you. I see you. Yes, I do believe I understand what you were saying.
Yep. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
So, I hardly purchase big purchases for myself because we just never have any money. I mean, we have money, we're just not disposable. But I bought myself a little present. I bought the new South Park video game.
A while back, yeah.
And it's called The Fractured But Whole. It's a spoof of Civil War from Marvel. It's because in the cartoon they have Coon and friends. And anyway, but it's called The Fractured Butthole.
You played it for quite a while today, and Sydney was pretty engaged.
I give Sydney an old controller so she thinks we're playing.
Yeah.
And then she hands it to me and goes, you try? And I'm just like, it's so cute.
It's adorable.
But anyway, I've been playing that, and it's a lot of fun. So if you have any gaming friends who are old enough to get the jokes, because it's very, very, very crude, pretty cool combat system, I highly recommend South Park, Fractured Butthole. But if you have not played South Park, The Stick of Truth. Also play that. Lots of fun. Anyway, that's what I did when I wasn't recording.
That was what you did with your, like...
With my spare
solo
time. On Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
And today.
Nice.
That's fun. And now I'm just trying to guilt Sarah into let me get a PlayStation VR because they just are about to release the bundle where
It'll
they
still be
remade
there.
Skyrim.
It'll still be there in February.
I can be on Skyrim and like be there.
February.
Amazing.
February.
I could be dead.
Oh, that took a turn so quickly.
Just in case.
Knock on the fake wood desk.
I know.
I mean, I guess it's real wood, but it's just like really
It's mushed together. Anyway.
processed.
I don't have anything else to add. You did all the
I did all the
contact
plugs.
info. Be nice to each other.
It's chaos. Be kind.
Rewind.
Thank you, Pat and Oswald, for sharing your heartwarming stories. Watch it if you want to cry like a little bitch. Good night. Bye.